Hi, I'm Kaya Stokes, a fall 2016 intern at WOCS 93.7 FM, the People Station, and you're watching Orangeburg County Television Network. Up next, we have Paul Harris with New Perspectives Media interviewing principal from Marshall Elementary, Dyshia Taylor, who talks about testings, challenges, and expectations for her students and teachers in today's OCSD5's Principal's Corner.
Dyshia Taylor, principal of Marshall Elementary School, joining me. And being principal of Marshall Elementary School, did you ever fathom being a principal one day in your life growing up?
I knew I always wanted to be a teacher. When I was a kid, I would go home and play school every day, probably like a lot of people did. And then early in my teaching career, I felt that administration was a calling and a passion of mine. I wanted to impact learning on a larger scale than just my classroom. So as a principal, I feel that I can spread myself into different classrooms, my knowledge, not just me, but my knowledge, my expertise, and hopefully having an impact on not just Miss Taylor's class, but several classes in the school.
But I'm pretty sure everything started with teaching. So
yes.
Where did your teaching first start at when you first became a teacher?
As my teaching career,
yeah.
I started as a teacher actually in Orangeburg. It was in District 3. Okay. I started student teaching. I was at Revlon Elementary, and how things become full circle because two of the my cooperating teachers were actually teachers here at Marshall. One still is. She was my cooperating teacher, so I learned a whole lot from her. But I actually started in Orangeburg, and then I ventured to Columbia after I got married, and then returned back. So I feel like I'm coming back home.
Wow, so you came back to where you started.
Yes, because I went to South Carolina State.
Okay. What is your synopsis for this school year?
My synopsis, well, basically we've been getting the ball rolling. So far we have a little over 800 students. So we are the largest elementary school in South Carolina. Excuse me, not in South Carolina, in Orangeburg. Okay. Sorry, largest in Orangeburg. But just been getting in there. We have several programs and initiatives that we're getting the ball rolling with. We house the Gifted and Talented program here, so they are a very integral part of our school. We have different programs such as the drum line. That's one of our highlights. A lot of people like that. But just basically getting started, getting rolling, and teachers right now we're in the process of doing a lot of pre-screening. So we're gathering data on our students, whether it's map testing or gathering data for DRA, which is a reading assessment that we do in our kindergarten grades. So right now we're teaching, we're learning, and we're gauging where our students are, so we can find what best tactics and strategies to help them.
And I remember you mentioned the drum line. I remember coming here for Teacher of the Day back in March, and you showed me a little bit of the drum line that you have here at Marshall Elementary, so that's a pretty cool thing.
Yes.
But you said one of the biggest elementary schools in the district, and also a school period in the district when it comes to population. How is it handling a big class of students?
It takes everyone, all hands on deck. Everyone is working with students from 7:15 until 3:30 every day. And we do have some needs with, teachers, but we still have to teach the kids. So we, pretty much everybody's involved. We're just in the classrooms, monitoring the students, making sure they're engaged, and making it work. And scheduling is very key. Scheduling is very key.
If you're just joining us, we're here with Dyshia Taylor, principal of Marshall Elementary School for Orangeburg Consolidated School District 5. I'm Paul Harris. And Dyshia, what's a day in life like for you as a principal at Marshall? What time does it start? What do you do during the day? What time are you able to go home? Because I know it's very busy. I know you said you live in Columbia as well, so that adds more time. But what's a day in life like for you?
Well, no day is the same. But on a typical day, I usually get here between 7 and 7:15. I go straight out to duty, morning duty. I'm either out front greeting parents and helping kids out of cars, or I'm in the cafeteria making sure that flow is very smoothly. Then I go to the news show around 8 o'clock and give the students encouragement for the day or share any announcements and things like that. And then after that, I'm in classrooms, visiting classes, observing instruction, providing feedback to teachers. Some days I meet with teachers, like on Thursdays, I meet with the teachers during our PLCs, and I provide them with, mini PD sessions, or we're just talking about the instruction or how we can improve achievement. So that's the bulk of my day. Now, sometimes things come up where I may have certain situations to handle, but I would love to spend the most of my day in the classrooms. But if not, then I'm here working on, administrative things.
Is there just about any type of day that you will go into a classroom and give a teaching lesson to some of the students?
Yes, and I like to dive in and jump in. So sometimes as the teachers are teaching, I'm in there saying, oh, let me share this with you, or I'm sitting with the kids and helping them. So it's not just an observation, but I like to be involved and engaged with the teachers as they're teaching. So that's a typical day, and I'm here always until at least 5:30.
Okay.
Just to make sure I'm accessible. I want the teachers to be, that time after school, because I'm out of the office a lot during the day. I want to be accessible to the teachers after school and the parents as well. So that way they can come and kind of get my undivided attention. So I do try to provide that office time after school.
Okay, that's very good. So still 12-hour days, just about almost.
Yes, and I can't. You probably won't find a principal that does less than that.
You're right.
You probably
I definitely have heard about that. But how do you observe your students going around the school? Like you said, you go in classrooms. How do you observe students around the school, whether it's in the classroom, the cafeteria, when they first come into school, when they leave? How do you observe them to see if they need help, or to see if if they're trying to improve in something?
The biggest thing is just being out and visible. I try to catch them early. During the morning time, I can kind of get my eyes on all of the kids coming in, or if they're coming from the bus. But the biggest thing is to observe their behavior and their demeanor, because sometimes you can see the kid coming in with a frown or having a bad day. So if I can kind of stop it there and say, okay, what's going on? Well, I know you're upset. Come on, talk to Miss Taylor. So that's the first place that I'm, observing the students and looking at their demeanor and behavior for the day. And then the second biggest place is through, of course, in the classroom, as their teaching and learning is going on, looking at their activities, asking them questions. Hey, what are you doing today? Miss So-and-so went over this. Could you show me? How did you do that problem? So really questioning the students and engaging them. And then the biggest way I observe students is through data. I get the information from the teachers from classroom assessments, common assessments, district-wide assessments such as math, and of course state data. But that's the biggest way I observe and analyze the students, to see what is going on. So I look at the data numerically for each child. We do data notebooks for each child, so for each teacher, and then it has a sheet for each child that has all of their information on there, from grades to testing to any discipline issues. So I really look at that to get more information about each child academically.
Speaking of testing, how important is testing at this elementary school? Because it's a very critical thing when it comes to the end of the year.
Yes, testing is very important, and we're making some preparations to get ready for the shift that's going to happen with testing. As you know, this year testing will be online. So that is a big adjustment, because a lot of teachers are used to paper pencil assessment. So we're shifting to making sure that our tests look, more closely related to what they will see in the spring. So utilizing, iPads for assessment, different programs, electronic tests. So that's going to be a big shift and a focus for us this year with testing.
Do you think that helps a lot, though? Because I see a lot of students walking around with iPads that they use in class. Will that be a big help when it comes to testing in the future?
It will be. Having technology devices is a great resource. The only concern that we have is just with typing. We're used to iPads for, answers, clicking, dragging, but the only thing is going to be actually when they have to type when we're writing. But we will be using the desktop for that. So we're anticipating the shift, and we're working towards it.
And how many years have you been as principal of Marshall?
This is my third year as a principal, and I've spent all of those years here. So I've had 2 years so far at Marshall Elementary.
So any accomplishments in your third year going in in the 3 years you've been principal?
A lot of things. I've seen progress with data, so we're very pleased with that. Our teachers are working hard, students are working hard. Some initiatives and things that I've brought into the school with celebrating kids, like whether it's Party with the Principals, where I recognize Students of the Week, or I do special celebrations to recognize achievement quarterly. A lot of accomplishments with how we do programs to involve the family, like we revised the Family and Friends Day, which is our awards program. We didn't have a lot of participation from parents because with the format of the program, a lot of the students took up the space, so parents couldn't come in. So now we've changed that format to where we have several programs throughout the day, but we have more parent involvement. So we're very excited about that. And then I just think also the culture of the school has really changed. Teachers are hardworking, ready to work, and I think that's because of the great things that's happening here. I can't take all the credit for it, but,
you can.
But just a lot of great things are happening. People are really buying into the vision, and what I want for my school is that I want Marshall to be a place that we build character, but it's in a fun and engaging academic learning environment. We're building success, but the students are having fun and they're engaged.
And when you say buying into that vision, is a vision what you came to Marshall with and you want to implement immediately?
Yes, some of it is what I knew that I wanted to do, but then I also got input from the teachers. You know, what would you want for your child? What makes you engaged? So if you know what you would want for your child, or you know what things engage you, then let's provide those experiences for our students. You know, I encourage field trips. I encourage hands-on opportunities. I gave them an example of when I was teaching. I had a student, she was crying. And so the mother came, and I was very concerned. She was like, you know, so-and-so's crying in the car. And I said, why is she crying? And so I'm waiting for something to have happened. I'm thinking maybe there was a fight, or maybe someone said something to her. But what was happening is that the student was crying because she couldn't come to school because she was sick. We were doing an activity in science. We were making ice cream. I was teaching 3rd grade at the time, and we were talking about states of matter. And so she was upset because she couldn't come to school. So she was in the car just boo-hoo crying, and her mom was trying to convince her that you have to stay home, you're sick. And so I shared that story with my teachers to say, I want our students to feel like that about Marshall. I want them to be disappointed when they can't come to school, that going home is not a privilege. And we, in order to create that, it's about the experiences that we are fostering for them. I want Marshall to be a home away from home. We even did a lock-in where the kids spent the night here.
Really?
Yes,
wow.
Last year. We had the kids spend the night, 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, blankets, PJs, all of us. But it was learning. They did different stations, and we stayed up. And those are the type of things that I want to provide for our students. I want us to be more than just a school. I want us to teach and reach the whole child.
Basically a big family.
Yes, a big family.
That's great to hear. I know you don't have much time because you're principal, commander-in-chief of the school.
Okay.
Got to end it with this because a lot of parents want to know, when it comes to accelerating school growth in their students and ensuring that every child learns, what are you doing as a principal to tell the teachers to make sure that the child is learning properly and make sure that they have a successful childhood in the school system?
The biggest thing is providing them with support, you know, making sure that the teachers understand what to teach and how to teach it. So whether it's modeling lessons for them through us or their curriculum team, or just sitting with them one-on-one to help with lesson planning. I think if teachers feel confident in delivering the instruction, and also finding different ways to reach the child. I know sometimes that you may teach it one way and it doesn't cater to the learning style of a student. So it's taking one set of content or one standard and teaching it 4 or 5 different ways. So giving teachers different outlets and paths to reach the students. And also I would say with the parents, the biggest thing is just support. Reaching out to, you know, bridging the gap between home and school, and us sharing with parent strategies and things that they can do to help the children as well. We do Parent University, and we do workshops for parents where they can come on a Saturday and we're sharing things that we're doing in the classroom, and we give them manipulatives, resources, ideas, and everything that they can use at home as well. So I think it's just, you know, working with the teachers, showing them the best way to deliver the instruction, and also showing the parents that they are a valuable resource too and can assist at home.
Wow, that's great. Dyshia Taylor, thank you for joining me. This has been Principal's Corner for OCSD5 here at Marshall Elementary School with Mrs. Dyshia Taylor. And hopefully we can come back here to talk to her in the future. But until then, I am signing off. My name is Paul Harris, and you have been listening to and watching the Principal's Corner for Orangeburg Consolidated School District 5, found only on Orangeburg County Television.com.
You can visit OrangeburgCountyTV.com for more video archives of OCSD5 events and community of Orangeburg, South Carolina. For the People Station and Orangeburg County TV, I'm Kaya Stokes.